All right, cool. Let's see, OBS. We can make this a little bit smaller. And let's check to see the stream is running. That's nice. I don't know how good it is per se, but this is my first time streaming, so whatever. Greetings and welcome, gamer guys and gals. This happens to be my very first ever live stream, and I decided to pick a game that I'm very, very familiar with, that I enjoy a lot, which is COD Cold War Zombies. I'm not really a Call of Duty fan, if we were being honest, but I am a huge Zombies fan, and I'm actually pretty excited to play a little bit. So I'm going to be playing solo Forsaken, and I'm going to be using a busted noob tube, as we all like to say. The Super Easter Egg recently just came out, and even though most of the community thinks it's a lackluster addition to the game, I think it's fantastic because I can start my game with epic rarity weapons. I mean, that's just cool. There were some people saying that it wasn't powerful enough, but most of those same people are kind of the opinion that the game is too easy. So if we were to add more stuff, wouldn't that kind of bust the game open a little bit too wide open? Personally, I don't know. Call of Duty used to be a thing that I loved when I was younger and thoroughly enjoyed when I was younger. And then zombies started taking over. Like, for instance, Black Ops 1 was the very first time I got into zombies. Now, I played a little bit of World at War after I got into Black Ops 1 zombies, so I have been in all of it. Pretty much close to the start. But not exactly the start. Alright, so, first and foremost, let's go ahead and activate this teleporter. We're not going to use it right away. Death perception looks absolutely beautiful in this game. I'm one of those people who personally believes that zombies has gotten better, at least the Treyarch zombies, pretty much since Black Ops 3. Like, Black Ops 3 was the first major step in the quote-unquote betterment of zombies. Black Ops 3 was the first step. I think Black Ops 4 was even a step up above Black Ops 3 in some ways. I know that's pretty much zombies community heresy, but I was a big fan of the perk system, as well as more like RPG and class elements into the game. Oh, very nice, double points. Very nice. The quicker we can get our points in these early rounds, the better. Much better. Yeah, so like Black Ops 3 has amazing maps, but in my humble opinion, I think that Black Ops 4 has just as good a maps. And then the obvious betterment in Black Ops 4 was simply put, not hitting that nuke, at least on purpose. It was stuff like the, ooh, very nice Semtex. Stuff like the class system, the perk system, as well as like the field upgrade weapon kind of deals, the specialist weapons, those were great. I personally love the field upgrades in Cold War better, but to be honest, I think Cold War is the best zombies game so far, at least Treyarch zombies. I don't particularly count nor care for any of the non-Treyarch zombies. That's just a preference thing. They're not exactly bad, they're just not exactly my cup of tea. stick around here till probably around either around 8 or 9, somewhere in that vicinity. Okay. So my strategy, or my thing that I like to do the most in zombies is camp. And some people say that that's boring, and I guess for some people that is boring. I can run, I can get to high rounds running, I can get to high rounds camping, but truly the reason why I like camping so much, especially in Cold War, because Cold War sort of just incentivizes it in a way, or I should say permits it. In none of the games prior to this, you could really hold out and camp for as long as you wanted. There was a point in time that because the zombies' health was so much more than your weapons could deal in damage. Or, for instance, if you had wonder weapons and you were relying on wonder weapons, you had limited use on those. So it wasn't like you could just barrel through round after round after round using nothing but wonder weapons. That was just not possible. We should have... Oh, we have way more than enough salvage. We're going to go ahead and grab ourselves armor. Watch them drop armor. That would be really funny. And a little bit maniacal, if we're being honest. Oh, I didn't mean to hit you in the face. Now we have 17k. One thing we're going to do is go ahead and buy Death Perception. Love that perk. I absolutely think it's awesome. I think I think Death Perception was an underrated perk in Black Ops 4. Obviously, it wasn't great. You know, it wasn't a world beater. It wasn't a perk that you could just say, okay, this is the best thing ever that was ever made, period. That's obviously not what the case was. But I like its effects in this game. It really works. It's almost like it was built for a Battle Royale type of zombie style, and that's pretty much what this is. This is Battle Royale looter-shooter zombies. Come on, zombies everywhere. So yeah, like what I like doing in Forsaken the most, not just camping, is I also like staying in the starter room pretty much until about round between 8 and 9, somewhere in that vicinity, to get the points up so that you can just go directly to Pack-a-Punch, get the stuff over with. I'll save a zombie here. I think that's a good idea. And of course we want some wonderful max ammo. Yeah, but this this wonderful super Easter egg. Now, I don't really care for any of the, you know, other things that they gave you per se, stuff like the emblems and the calling card. I don't really care for that per se, because personally, it's really the in-game stuff that really sells it for me. And it's so underrated how powerful it is that you start out with purple rarity. Now, of course, you have to have the Easter egg, all the Easter eggs done in every single map. I'm going to turn you to vibrate. Yeah, you have to have all 6 Easter eggs done in order to get the purple rarity in every map. But even if you only have a couple Easter eggs done, you get different rarities per map, so on and so forth. And I think that's cool, because you're saving literally, what, 1,500 regular salvage and 500 rare salvage? Which, I mean, I just call the regular salvage scrap, because it makes sense. Alright, now I didn't get... I think it would probably be for the best that I grab this. Let's go ahead and apply our blueprint. Reload that. Yeah, I normally get the spaz, but because I'm talking, I totally skipped by it. I get the gallow spaz, whatever you want to call it, off the wall to take out this bad boy. My favorite elite enemy in this game. Probably because I'm just a huge fan of the Margwa. Really huge fan. I seriously think the Margwa is the best, if not pretty close to the best, special or mini boss type enemy in the game. We actually want to buy you right away. Alright, trials. Alright, so I also am a big fan of the way that trials work in this game. Trials are amazing, let alone the fact that you can get all kinds of stuff. I usually go for the legendary upgrade or legendary trial, so that I can get myself the wonder weapon from it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing for this gameplay. Basically, because I have PhD Flopper right now, I'm actually not going to be focusing on any other guns, per se. Pack-a-punching or anything like that. This gun is good for the time being. You can get a lot more points with headshots than you can with explosive kills, so there's that as well. Let's gather all of you up. And then get a bunch of kills. Perfect. Yeah, another reason why I'm not so keen on the whole Call of Duty zombies, and I probably would never stream or record other zombies per se than Cold War, is because most of the other zombies have a whole lot of cussing. I'm not real big on blood and gore. I'm not real big on cussing. I just think it's for the birds. So I'm not really concerned with doing any of that, but Cold War is kind of perfect in that way, because Cold War limits some of that stuff. Not to mention the fact that it's more grounded. I can turn off the gore, I can turn off, like, the gross. I mean, some people don't find it gross, but, you know, that's their own prerogative. I find it gross. I could never play horror games when I was growing up. Could never do it. And then I just got to the point, like, even though I'm not afraid of horror games now, I just don't have a purpose to play them, because I don't find enjoyment with them. Never have. I don't think that playing a game for, like, the scare factor has a good point, I guess to say. But again, I'm not calling the games bad per se. Alright, so we're already at rare, which is nice. Yeah, but concerning Cold War. So some of my favorite things about this game happen to be the way that they decided to go with the upgrading system in this game, the Aether Crystals. Fantastic. I understand that there's quite a lot of people who think that it's kind of bad to have all your upgrading systems based on menus outside of game. And I guess to some degree I could agree with that. But I'll be honest, looking at stuff like Vanguard's system is so one note. Every last one of the perks in that game is literally just, okay, you know, you've got Jug, and it gives you more health. And each time you buy it, it gives you a little bit more health. I don't really think that's fun, if I was being honest here. I really don't. I think it's far more fun to have perks do many different things. Each and every one of these perks in this game has a base effect, and then not only a base effect, has an effect that... Did I knife this? I do not like the Pack-a-Punch camos. Also. Yeah, I did knife it, so that's cool. But yeah, each and every one of these perks has a base effect, and then most of the perks, not all, but most of the perks, every single effect that you level up, all 5 tiers beyond the base effect, are literally a different perk. The fact that they squeezed Time Slip into Speed Cola, they squeezed Dying Wish into Juggernog. Goodbye, zombie. It was nice knowing you. Stuff like that, that's really cool. Double tap basically is in this game in ways. I know that there's a lot of people who still don't like that it's not here. Personally, my opinion. Double tap needs to come to this game. Still, I would love it if they were to add it. But what I would love is if it was like fire rate increases more than anything. I don't really care for the double damage. I don't really care. You don't need it in this game. You really don't. Deadshot Daiquiri gives you double damage. If you have a elemental pop and specific alternate ammo types, you're doing double damage to other enemies too, so you can do up to like quadruple damage. Let alone the fact that your guns, your weapons, your the capacity to damage zombies in this game is much higher. Okay, cool. We got ourselves legendary. We're gonna go pick that up right away. I typically don't pick up the legendary rewards until I have at least 3 perks, and it's Crystal X. Awesome. So, I mean, we basically have everything we need for our strategy right now. Basically. Not completely, but we're pretty close. I mean, I will gladly take an artillery. Is it important? Nope. Is it useful? Sure can be. Alright, so we're going to keep Ring of Fire on until we kill the first abomination. Then we're going to set up our camping area using some toxic growths. So my favorite field upgrade in this game is Ring of Fire, but it's followed closely by Toxic Growth. And probably Frost Blast, if I was being honest. It's pretty busted that this Wonder Weapon not only heals you because of the melee class, but also gives you armor upon hits. It's not very much, and it actually depends on your level of armor because it gives a percentage. So it's not like the most broken thing in the world, and you will still die even at health, even at maximum pack-a-punch if you're surrounded. In the higher rounds, I should say. But it's really cool. The fact that it's a submachine gun that turns into an axe weapon. It has multiple fire modes, multiple ways that you can use it. It's just really cool. Alright, so what we're going to do right now, because this is pertinent to our strategy, of course we'll pack a punch. Not this way. We also want quick revive. And then we'll be pretty much done with getting perks for the time being until we get up to the point... Did I miss it? Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Silly me. Let's go ahead and duck on that. These are all the perks we're going to get for now. We are going to go ahead with other perks soon. But I typically like double packing both my weapons before I will get more than 5 perks. Just because perk price goes up so much in this game that you're kind of really hampering yourself. if you buy too many perks in the early game. Alright, so I wonder when our next abomination should be next round. Should be. We're kind of waiting on him in order to start getting ready our camping spot. However, I do have to say I'm not going to be camping until probably around 30, maybe? And I don't know exactly what round we're going to go to. I'm not going to like super high rounds because this is, after all, my very first stream. I could pretty much go forever. My strategy is, it's pretty much guaranteed that if you play it right, you're going to go forever. Which is cool, because that's something that a lot of people will say, well, this game makes it too easy because of self-revives. Well, I agree and I don't, because yes, you could only have 3 quick revives in the previous games. Black Ops 4 was kind of weird about this. But here's my problem. With multiplayer, you basically have an unlimited amount of lives. Why is it that solo, it took, and literally until this game, it took until this game for them to give you the same amount of revives as you have in multiplayer. If you have the skill, you can infinitely revive your teammates on multiplayer. So, how many people would say that that's less skillful, though? I've never heard that before. I've never heard anybody say that it was less skillful for you to have the ability to infinitely revive your teammates. And again, no abomination. That's a shame. Still waiting. Yeah, I think it's crazy that people even think that way. But okay, here we go. And he's a moron. And he's dead. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and switch to Toxic Growth pretty much immediately. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, having infinite self-revives. I do like the fact that in this game, they looked at that and said, okay, fine. Infinite quick revives, or self-revives, I should say, might be a little bit broken, especially since you have the ability to revive yourself with quick revive and Tombstone also. So you have more options. They raised the price of the self-revive after so many times you buy it. I believe it's after the 3rd time you buy it, it goes up, and it goes up and up and up every single time. It's not by a whole lot, but it does add up after a while. I think it goes up by 50 salvage, like the high-grade salvage, every single time afterwards, which, by the time you're in high rounds, that kind of doesn't matter, but in early rounds, it matters a lot. There is also the fact that zombies will just drop you self-revives if you don't have one. It's not a high chance, because it is an epic item, but it's still possible. Plus, you can do trials to get an epic reward, and you have a pretty high chance at epic to get a self-revive. Alright, so already round 18. We're doing pretty darn well. I'm going to not buy 3rd tier armor until after I have this upgraded to orange rarity, to legendary. Just for the sake of the fact that I would like it sooner than later. It's not necessary right now, because even if it was non-upgraded in rarity at all, it would still be useful. That's just how busted, just how completely busted the noob tube is in this game. In zombies, per se. And about time. Can we just say about time? Why did it take until Cold War for explosives to be useful? Now, granted, there's been instances where explosives were somewhat useful in some of the games prior. Like, for instance, in World at War, explosives were actually the most powerful weapons. But the problem was is that after a while, nothing killed, so it really didn't matter. Nothing killed besides the Wunderwaffe. Might have put that one too close. That's okay. Alright, back to Ring of Fire. Alright, so we have 17k. We're going to go ahead and double pack the Crystal Axe. Yeah, Black Ops 2 explosives were pointless. Black Ops 3 explosives were near pointless. I mean, there was basically... The L4 Siege was amazing. Oh my gosh, was that weapon amazing. It was incredible. Fantastic, even. But it wasn't the greatest weapon of all time because, you know, there was still a point where it just, you know, wasn't that great. That's how it kind of was in Black Ops 3, though. And a lot of people will say things like, well, you can kill far past, you know, mid-rounds with weapons. Yeah, with alternate ammo types, and that was it. I would much prefer this style of gameplay where you literally have the capacity to kill zombies at any wave regardless. Why is that a bad thing? Any weapon in this game can kill. If you have it max upgraded, it can eliminate zombies. Just because of the fact that there is a health cap. Are you going to do it fast? No. You know, you decide to pick up the Mac 10. You're not going to have a quick goal with it. Ooh. Do I want that? I mean, it's good for high rounds, but it's not really necessarily useful for now. I'm going to keep it anyway, because, I mean, it's the Casimir. And I got it for free, so that's nice. I kind of wish it was still the Gersh in this game. I will say that. Oh, poor Decisive. Not as threatening of an enemy as I was kind of hoping him to be, but it really doesn't matter because Forsaken has literally every enemy in it except for, I think, the Panzer and the Megaton. It doesn't have any of the other elites. But it has all the specials, so on and so forth. Alright, see, that's one of the reasons why PhD Slider can suck sometimes. Oh, that's another thing, too. PhD Slider, a lot of people were saying that, you know, this is just PhD, it's not very original. But in all actual fact, it's not just PhD. This is basically Blaze Phase. Except for the fact that it's not something you have to charge, thank goodness. I can't even believe they thought that was a good idea. Blaze Phase was a really cool perk, though. Again, there were a lot of cool ideas in Black Ops 4. They just didn't come to fruition, per se. Obviously, we would love... I did not mean to slide. We would love some speed cola. first ever melee wonder weapon we've ever had, I believe. I mean, unless you count the specialist weapons of Black Ops 4. I don't really count those as wonder weapons, even though they kind of really are. Alright, zombies, you just don't stand a chance to my axe. Alright, so if you haven't seen how busted this weapon is, we're going to show you how busted this weapon is. Because one of the things that it does, and honestly, it wouldn't even have to do this and still be good, but it makes it busted, it really does, is whenever you hit zombies with it and you don't kill them, 9 times out of 10, they fall down or get knocked over. Which is just kind of absurd. Elemental pop. We're pretty close to being able to buy the rest of the perks. We have 7 now. Pretty close. We're not exactly there yet, obviously. I think what we want to do is we want to get probably Mule Kick next. I mean, there was a way I could have got it outside of the Wonder Fizz, but you know. Oh. So my Cashmere did not work. How fantastic. Alright, so let's see. We obviously need you. Okay. Honest-to-goodness shame. Mostly because it's just, it's like a setback. It honestly doesn't matter in a way because, again, you know, I'm not really hurting for salvage right now. Oh well. Oh well. I can't believe the Cashmere didn't work there. I wonder what happened. Did I just throw it a little too soon or something? I find it very interesting that the Ring of Fire does not work on his laser beam, which is, I'm not going to exactly say that's bad, because it kind of gives like the dynamic that he has the ability to kind of beat out your Ring of Fire in a way, which is okay, you know. It's not like a huge detriment. And so we've got, I mean, we got back up to the perks we were at. It's just unfortunate that I had to waste. Alright. Now, since we're finally at orange rarity, stun grenades. I love stun grenades. Stun grenades and Semtexes in this game are an awesome combination. And again, it's one of those things where we all wanted it, you know. Sitting back and thinking about way back in the day, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, thinking, you know, why couldn't they, if we have frag grenades, why couldn't we also have things like Semtex? Then they gave us Semtex, and it was really crap. But why can't we also have like stun grenades and then they gave us stuff like EMPs and stuff like that was cool, but it wasn't always great or effective. All right, zombies. Now, see, most people when they camp in this map, they just do this. It's really simple. If you have just 2 people sitting up here, you can get 6 toxic growths up here. You can have people with Ring of Fire. Everybody has Crystal Axe, and then you just throw down your left trigger. Let them come up to you, and then boom. It's actually pretty simple. I would say that in a sense it's too simple, but there comes a point where the zombies can kind of overwhelm you regardless if you're not smart. But just camping is really powerful in this game, and it's fun. Honestly, it's fun in my opinion. It might not be fun to everybody else. Alright. So he's one of the reasons why I actually got Napalm Burst on this, to deal with the Manglers quicker. I have a hard time deciding which one of the maps in this game are my favorite maps. Between Forsaken and D-Machine. Now, I feel like D-Machine is the most zombie-esque map. It feels like a zombies map. I feel like much of the rest of the maps in this game feel a little bit too multiplayer-esque or, you know, campaign-esque for them to be considered zombies maps. I'm not exactly crapping on the fact that, you know, Treyarch did great in this game. They really did. Could they do better? Oh, of course. Every game could be done better. But the maps are just phenomenal in this game. Phenomenal. For what they had. They're still good. The fact that you can mantle everything is enough of a selling point for me to say, look, these maps are better. Would you prefer your Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 maps, so on and so forth, etc., where you're stopped by a 2-foot tall like, iron grate? That's just not. That's not fun. It really is not fun. Alright. So here's another thing too you can do with this weapon. If you run out of ammo, I don't know why it made me look up. If you run out of ammo with it, right as you use Ring of Fire, you can rapid fire it like crazy. Alright, so we do have 30,000 points. We kind of want to get the rest of the perks. We're gonna let's not buy self-revive right yet. It might be that we'll get a self-revive per se. Alright, so yeah, one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the Wonder Fizz placement in this map, I actually kind of wish the Wonder Fizz was up in the Pack-a-Punch area. I think that would be really cool. I'm not a big fan of the Wonder Fizz placement in this map because you're just kind of a sitting duck while you're trying to get stuff. kick is amazing in this game. Fully upgraded, that is. Having the ability to constantly get ammo from regular enemies, as well as the ability to just sometimes say, oh, I'm keeping my equipment. It's not getting used, guys. That's just awesome. Alright. Take care of some zombies. We should be pretty close to wave end. Deadshot daiquiri. See, now Deadshot daiquiri is something I get way sooner than this, usually. If I'm using actual, like, bullet weapons. But because I'm not using a bullet weapon, it kind of is not that important. I mean, it's useful for the Crystal Axe's submachine gun variant, but it's not that great. It's not something that's 100% necessary. Alright, so we're already at round 28. Basically, all we have left to do is fully pack-a-punch both my weapons, get ourselves a self-revive soon. So it's not exactly necessary right at the second, because we have the chance of dropping one, but in a couple of rounds, if I don't have it by then, I'll probably just buy one. Turn on the Rampage Inducer. Another thing I'm a big fan of, the ability to turn on and off difficulty in this game. Actually, we'll just swap to this. Just go ahead and buy our self-revive. Buy you and you. Yeah, I doubt that, Mangler. Manglers have never really been that threatening, if we were being honest. Black Ops 3, Cold War, it really doesn't matter. PhD slider, just absolutely a necessary perk in this game. Absolutely necessary. The explosives are so amazing in this game. And they also do a lot of damage to you. Especially the Thumper. The Thumper is pretty excessive on the damage it does to you. Alright, so we don't even have fully pack-a-punch yet. We will actually soon. But if you couldn't see my strategy here, or if you weren't paying attention, this is basically it. This is how you get high rounds with Thumper on basically any map, anywhere. You can camp wherever you want, as long as it's a reasonably tight corridor. Put up some toxic growths. Use Ring of Fire. Toxic growths are really only there for like a backup. I get in trouble, I need to go back there, I need to regroup, so on and so forth. Reload. switch weapons. That's all they're there for. They're not as a primary means of defense. You can use toxic growth as a primary means of defense, but there comes a point in time where the zombies are going so fast that you kind of can't keep up with it no matter what you do. All right. Very cool. We got plenty of salvage. It's pretty simple too, because the thing is that since there are no spawns behind you, and because of the way that this spawn area works, and how that they didn't exactly make it so that the zombies can just jump up here. I like that per se, because there are some camping spots, like for instance the plane wing on D-Machine, where they utterly nerfed the crap out of it and made it so that the zombies could go up there quicker. And I don't really like that. I mean, there's a lot of people who complain about, well, you shouldn't be able to just camp yourself to forever on this game. But you don't have to do it. It's a PvE mode. You don't have to do what other people are doing. You don't have to be meta. You don't have to use the Wonder Weapon to get this far. You don't have to do any of that. You can literally use the MAC-10, which is universally treated as one of the worst weapons in this game. Or the M1911. Very terrible weapon. Let's be real here. I do wish that it was explosive, but honestly, that's actually more of a design philosophy of this game problem than it is anything else, because if you pay close attention, you'll notice that just about none of the weapons in this game, when Pack-a-Punch, have special or unique properties or abilities. Just about none of them. The Gallo turns full auto. Whoop-de-doo. Some weapons get a little bit more in the magazine, like this basically becomes semi-automatic. Whoop-de-doo. And the M16 becomes a 6-round burst. Again, whoop-de-doo. Besides that, it's not that creative. Black Ops 4 was the best about this, and it does not get the recognition it deserves for it, because Black Ops 4 literally did this the best. It had weapons galore that literally changed completely upon Pack-a-Punch. Alright, so also I have the cruise missile for one specific purpose. It's cheaper and faster to use than the that guy shooting me too far. It's cheaper and faster to use than the chopper gunner. Yeah, you're gone. Which makes it a viable tool to use to get out of trouble. Because you go invincible once you use it, which is, I think, personally cool. The fact that we have kill streaks, or score streaks, or whatever, in zombies now is, in my opinion, very awesome. Alright, cool. So we can go ahead and fully Pack-a-Punch the Crystal Axe. Again, the Crystal Axe is kind of more or less like a backup weapon, or a weapon I'm going to use against the Abomination if I don't have Ring of Fire up, because there's quite the chance that that's you know, possible. But, I mean, it's also really good for this camping strategy anyway. Pretty much regardless. Surprisingly, though, even though the Crystal Axe is interesting and very cool with its effects and whatnot, and its usage, it's not my favorite wonder weapon in this game. I would say that ever since the Die Shockwave was able to be pack-a-punched and all of its variants, that is my favorite wonder weapon. Not just in this game, of all time. It is the coolest. I love that you can get it in Outbreak. I don't know if you can get it in Onslaught. I've not played enough Onslaught to know if that's the case. That was one of those moments where I barely didn't have Ring of Fire in time, but it was okay, you know. Let's go ahead and switch things up a bit. We'll go ahead and use the Crystal Axe for a moment. Thoroughly enjoy this weapon. Yeah, it's actually my least favorite wonder weapon, not because it's bad, because all the wonder weapons in this game are good. In fact, I would dare say they're fantastic, and they're quite unique. It's probably the most creative thing about this game. Of course, there is creative aspects, like, for instance, the perk upgrades and whatnot, but I would still say that the wonder weapon is the most creative aspect. Like the Cerberus, for instance. Love the Cerberus. Second favorite wonder weapon, for sure. Big fan of the Ray K, but I have problems figuring out whether or not the Ray K or the Crystal Axe are my number 4. They kind of toggle between the two. Just because the Ray K is great and all, but it's kind of slow in usage. And the Crystal Axe is great, but even at max damage, it doesn't one-shot melee, which is okay, because it actually does melee right. My problem with melee in zombies, even in Black Ops Cold War, where melee is quote-unquote the strongest it's ever been, is that it only hits one target. Why is that still a thing? I would love to see, or would have loved to have seen, Ethereal Razor come to this game, allowing your melees to all hit more than one target. They could have even combined it with another perk or something. Or maybe like a Widow's Wine, but that had like effects of Ethereal Razor, because partly Widow's Wine was originally like a melee perk also. It wasn't the primary thing that it did, obviously. But melee needs more power. It needs the ability to be able to hit more than one enemy. Ourselves for the next round. Just had a feeling it was going to end the round. Yeah, because this does damage per second at 30,000, even at health cap, the secondary effect of, or the secondary, like, axe throw kind of deal just does so much damage that at max upgrade it's a fantastic weapon. Let's just put it that way. I definitely try to take care of the nuisance special enemies as quickly as possible. came to me. Now, one thing I can say, though, is that, you know, salvage is not really an issue for me right now. As we look, you know, I've got 9,900 salvage or scrap, and 1,232 salvage. So I don't really need to use the axe as a means to get my armor back. But let's be honest here, who doesn't do that when they play Forsaken? It's so useful. I'm probably going to go ahead and keep my Ring of Fire. I think we're going to have an Abomination soon. I'm not entirely sure. Alright, I don't have any more of that actually. And I was... Yeah, the most hectic parts of this this camping strategy is definitely the Abomination. Definitely the Abomination. Very cool enemy, but also very, very powerful. Defensively as well. He does not want to get KO'd anytime soon. Yeah, Molotovs would be a great tool for this if it wasn't for the fact that there is no way to mitigate fire damage. Explosive damage, I mean, I can just throw this down here and blow everything around me and call it a day. And the Semtex just is pretty much instantaneous, and it will kill a whole horde of zombies. So if you're caught, it's a very great tool. You know, it's kind of interesting because Cold War... There's a lot of things about this game that just... It's, you know, there's room for debate. There's room for debate whether or not you should be this powerful in a PvE mode. I think personally you should, but not at the start. Like, when I started this match, I was not this powerful. Even with the purple, the weapon. It's... The rarities don't add truly that much damage. It's Pack-a-Punch that adds damage. Pack-a-Punch doubles your damage. Whereas the rarities just add the base damage onto your weapon. So if you have a green rarity, it adds the base damage your weapon normally did once. So purple rarity is 4 times. So it's basically you have 5 times the damage at the start of the game. But it doesn't last very much so that long. That's why I Pack-a-Punch the Noob tube pretty much as soon as I could, because you need to. You have to have that damage that Pack-a-Punch affords you. I'm just a really big fan of the mechanics of this game. So many good decisions and just good things were done to make sure that this game was cool. The disciples are a little bit too far out of the way in order for you to take care of them with just look at this. Like, the zombies turning into crawlers. It's not very reliably done in this game. Like, frag grenades will not create crawlers because they're just like Semtexes. They will kill at health cap. Because their damage is wave-based, not numeric. Alright, so round 41. Basically, this weapon at health cap does, I mean, I have max damage right now that this weapon can do, besides Ring of Fire, obviously. And it cannot ever one-shot at health cap without Ring of Fire. So the reason why it's so busted is because it has the exact same side effect that the ray gun does. Which is that it will knock over zombies that get hit by it. Which is why it's so powerful. Plus, there's also the fact that, you know, PhD slider just makes it so that you can blast away at the zombies no matter how close they are. Which is just phenomenal. Alright, let's switch it up. I do like switching it up. It's one of the reasons why, even if I was going hardcore just using the busted noob tube strategy, which you can, you really can. There's a problem with ammo, but if you're using Mule Kick, you can let the zombies come up here and, you know, blow them up that way. And you'll get your ammo. Yeah, but without PhD slider, this is not a possible strategy at all. Due to the fact that, oh buddy, you just can't, reliably use this weapon in close proximity because the explosive radius on this weapon is insane. I mean, I don't know if you can tell the explosive radius by the gameplay, but you're literally hitting enemies away about like 20 yards away from you. Or I should say about 20 yards away from the explosion. Maybe it's a little bit less than that, per se. I don't know if it's exactly that, honestly. You know, I'm just guessing here, basically. But that's what it seems like. It seems like you're hitting enemies at least 10 to 15 yards away from you. Away from the explosion, again. And that's what makes it so powerful, because even the RPG and the Sigma rocket launchers don't have as big of an explosive radius. And for instance, when you're using Ring of Fire, even at health cap, you one-shot, and that's even at the edge of your explosive radius. This weapon works so very interestingly because basically it deals kind of low damage, even at max damage. But the thing is that because of the way the explosions work, it will hit the zombies multiple times. And that's what makes it so effective, is that you're not really just hitting once for 5,200 damage. soon, so I'm going to save that ammo. I said we're going to save that ammo, but I need to take care of this mangler before he gets too much of a nuisance. I love how the Ring of Fire even buffs your melee damage. It's really funny, in my honest opinion. Got some ammo. Another angler spawn. I wonder where. Or maybe not. I barely just got the Semtex skills, that's funny. But we do have a way we can get it back. And then we get a max ammo, that's always funny. Alright, let's go ahead and blow some stuff up. Let's take care of you, Mr. Abomination. It's honestly not that hard to do when you've got the Ring of Fire. Cool, it's already at round 45. Yeah, with this strategy, you want to hug the left wall because a lot of the Manglers and Tempest will spawn to the left and not directly in front of you. Of course, you get some that spawn in front of you, but it makes it so that they have to move around to get to a point where they can shoot you, which is good. I mean, you don't want to be unnecessarily shot and losing your armor while you're also dealing with tons of zombies. It's just kind of a bit ridiculous at that point. I don't have any ammo for that again. Let's go ahead and blow them all up again. Another thing I do like to do also is I like having a third weapon with Mule Kick that I just put Brain Rot on, because I think it's a great tool to use against the special enemies when you're camping. It's not necessary, so it's not one of those things where it makes or breaks a strategy like this. But it does really help having something like a Mangler transform. The only time it doesn't really help is when you're using it against things like Disciples. The Disciples are really bad to turn, and I don't understand that per se. Because their whole shtick is that they charge up the zombies and make them stronger and faster. But they don't do that to you, which kind of sucks. It's honestly kind of silly. Alright. Goodbye, Disciple. Ring of Fire is just too good. It really is just too good. Grab our salvage. Shatter Blast is a really good alternate ammo type to use on explosives or one-shot weapons, like, for instance, snipers, just because you get the ability to basically hit more than one enemy. Yeah, this weapon, the Crystal Axe, is really good, but it has a downside. And again, as I mentioned, it cannot one-shot with its max damage at health cap. We're not even at health cap, and it's not one-shotting. But again, like that's not something that makes or breaks whether this weapon is good, because of the fact that you're getting the ability to hit multiple enemies, which in my opinion is worth it. It's honestly worth it that you have the ability to hit more than one enemy with a melee weapon. It was how the melee weapon specialist weapons worked in Black Ops 4, which is good, because had they not worked that way, it would have been really kind of a shame. Ammo. Yeah, only being able to hit enemies with one hit of a melee is kind of bad. It's actually kind of the reason why I really love the ballistic knife and how it was treated in this game, because what's so cool about it is it's treated as both a special and a melee weapon, so it actually gets the benefits from both classes. And because it gets the benefits from both classes, it gets the damage buffs from both classes, as well as the fact that it also just, it really excels with the fact that you can shoot it as well. So I always give it something like Shatter Blast, and then I'll shoot it into a horde of zombies. It'll take out the whole horde, because Shatter Blast deals damage based on the damage your weapon deals. It's not exact damage, but it's like a percentage based. I've never seen that interaction before. I didn't know that the disciples can heal themselves with draining your health. That was kind of odd. I've played plenty of this game to see something like that, and I've just never seen it. Alright, so now we have an abomination, which is both good and bad. Alright, cool. We took care of the abomination. Up. Yeah, this is just so cool of a weapon because of the fact that you get your armor back and your health back, even though the zombies are technically at speed cap because of the rampage inducer. You're getting all of that that armor back before they're even hitting you. And of course, not all the zombies are at speed cap, but it kind of doesn't matter. Alright, we got 2 zombies down there, taking out the foes. Always appreciate that. About an abomination this wave, so we can just throw out a ring of fire and call it a day. Alright, so one thing I did want to talk about though, which has nothing to do with Cold War per se, but has everything to do with what I plan on doing with streams. So I am going to be making a public post about this on YouTube. But I am not just streaming Cold War. This is not a thing. I do plan on streaming tons of games. In fact, one of my favorite games of all time, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I was intentionally going to stream it today, but then I really just wanted to play this game, so I decided we're going to start my streams with this. But Super Ghouls and Ghosts is going to be a big one I'm going to stream a lot of. And I'm basically going to try my hardest to make Wednesdays my stream days. I think that's a good idea. I'm also working on a Let's Play at this current time that will be up in just a couple of weeks. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get back into YouTube content. I had done a lot of moving, a lot of situating myself, getting a new house, figuring out work and other things of that nature. And now that I have all that settled, I have more capacity to get back into my YouTube content, which is cool because even though, again, I'm not necessarily pursuing this as a career, it would always be just a cool thing to make money off of streaming or uploading videos. It's just a cool idea that it's kind of like living the dream, if you ever get to that point. You ever get to the point where you're just capable of making money off of your hobby? Because that is the dream. The dream is to have a career where you make money off of what you love doing. If you can do that, regardless of whether or not it's YouTube, you're living the dream. You're living the American dream. Some would say that's the only dream worth having. I'm not going to go that far, but I don't necessarily disagree. That max ammo is going to be nice and clutch. I don't think we had any more of these axe throws left, which, big problem here. Why is it that the crystal axe doesn't show you how many of these axe throws you have? It literally does not show you. You find out by trying to throw, and it doesn't throw. That's literally it. All out of my face. Are flying by. Literally flying by. Don't know exactly how far I'm going to go in this game. Probably not too much further. I do want to go beyond the health cap. Just for the simple fact that... come on. Just for the simple fact that it's not really high rounds until then. I mean, you could classify this as high rounds. You really could. You could classify even round 40 as high rounds. I'm not trying to downplay anybody's round that they've gotten to. It's just that I personally classify high rounds as when you get to health, damage, and speed cap with zombies, which is round 55. Which we're very close to. So we're going to at least get to that point, you know. We've already basically seen how well this strategy does. In here, it's very good. You have to be on your toes. It's not a brain dead strategy. It's not like you can just, you know, sit back here and just spam this and be okay. As you've seen, there's been several times where I've had to resituate myself. I've had to be very careful with zombies basically swarming me, and especially when the bosses come. I'm pretty sure I'm getting an abomination either this round or next, and I want a ring of fire for him. Because the problem is that neither one of my weapons can rapidly deal with him while I'm being surrounded and swarmed by zombies. It's actually a big reason why I keep stuns and semtexes, because that can really help you just thin the herd of zombags while you're dealing with bosses. Alright, we're gonna go ahead swap out of that. Grab some axe kills here. I had a feeling that you were coming, bud. Yep, you open your mouth and let me just take that hit. It was actually kind of absurd because I really wish I had recorded this back when I was doing it, but me and one of my friends, she's basically a noob at zombies, and me and my other friend, we were both showing her how to play the game, and then just like a couple of weeks later, me and her get to round 100 and then 122 on D Machine. And the reason why we got that high was because I showed her the camping strategy with the die shockwave, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious that I was able to get somebody who was relatively incredibly new at zombies to that high of a round with camping. That's not something that you could say in any one of the previous games. Off my platform, zombies. Alright. It's really unfortunate. One of my toxic growths died. Rampage inducer deactivated. I think we can go ahead and put on toxic growth for a little bit just to get the growths back. The rampage inducer is gone, so that means the zombies are no longer going to spawn in faster. It ramps down the difficulty just by a hair, because you still have the health cap. Every zombie is now currently at health cap, speed cap, and damage cap. With the rampage inducer, it was just, depending on your wave, most of the zombies are at health cap. Or not health cap, speed cap. And I don't think they are ever at damage cap under the inducer. Again, this is not something I know for an absolute fact, but I also don't think it necessarily matters. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do that. Swap out to Ring of Fire. Yeah, at times it can get pretty hectic, but if you know what you're doing, you know, you can deal with it. High rounds in this game are not as easy peasy brain dead as people think they are. It looks easy because like people like me who've done it for so long make it look easy, but it's not easy. It's not something that you can just say, okay, I'm gonna mimic that. It's not that simple. I'm actually pretty darn low on armor right now. Which I don't appreciate. We can go ahead and get our armor back that way. Alright, cool. It's round 57. We're probably going to go ahead and exfil at 61. Just because that seems reasonable. Depends on how long the waves are taking and how much time it takes at that point. I'm not paying attention really how... In fact, we're going to go ahead and check that right now. We're going to see how long the stream has been so far. All right, cool. It's been an hour and 31 minutes. Yeah, because I didn't say that the stream was coming, because I kind of just wanted to, you know, get into it. Don't really have any concurrent viewers, but I am going to, I mean, it's going to be a video on demand afterwards, so it really doesn't matter. I am very new to all this stuff. Definitely need ammo. That's most appreciated. That toxic growth is dead again. We can't really switch to it because I'm pretty sure we're getting a abomination soon. We always want Ring of Fire when he's here. I mean, it just makes the most sense, for one. For two, it's just... It's hard to deal with clearing a whole horde of zombies around you while you're also trying to deal with the quite powerful elites in this game. And they are really powerful. The specials are kind of like a distraction. Yes, they are still strong, but what's really worrisome is... oh, that'd be nice. What's really worrisome is the elites. Nothing that you can bring to this table right now. Alright. Let's go ahead and grab some of this stuff while we're at it. That's pretty funny. He was the last enemy. I didn't even notice. Just grab our stuff. I actually think what I'm gonna do here, this might not help so much. I've never actually tried this with the thumper, but let's go for some brain rot. Let's see how that works. Maybe it'll help. Have an abomination. I'm hoping that we're hitting him, actually. Yeah. That might be the end of this game. I say that, but oh yeah, absolutely. I got stuck. If I hadn't gotten stuck, it wouldn't have ended that way, but oh well. I was planning on quitting soon anyhow. Well, I mean, anybody who watches this, thank you for joining. I'm going to be posting up streams hopefully weekly very soon. I think that'd be a lot of fun, doing all kinds of games I like, but I don't necessarily want to do like a let's play on, or even just like or scripted content or anything like that, because that's another thing I have in store is that I want to do a lot of scripted content. It would be quite exciting if that was the case. So again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see y'all later.